Father, we come now to ask you, oh God, to decrease Chanel and you increase in me. Open the ears of the people that they may hear what I have for them. In Jesus' name we pray. Psalms 51, starting at verse 10. Create in me a clean heart, O God, and renew a right spirit within me. Cast me not away from thy presence, and take not thy Holy Spirit from me. Restore unto me the joy of thy salvation, and uphold me with thy freedom. Free spirit. My topic is, my condition is not my conclusion. With the co-topic of look at me now. Psalms 51 is created me. The condition, I looked up the definition for condition. Is a restriction, a limited, or modifying circumstance. It can happen only under certain conditions. My conclusion is a result, issue, or outcome, settlement, or agreement. When we are stressed and de-stressed by the state of our lives, we find ourselves in in the condition. We're irritated by even the smallest inconvenience, any problems. We rarely laugh. We're quick to snap at people. We flop in bed each night, exhausted, and we have no joy in our lives. It is this last matter that of particular concern to us, because I believe there are close relationships between the presence of stress in our lives and the abstinence of joy. Many Christians have given up on joy in their lives and presumed a dry religious ritual.
Ain't that so?
And the most they can hope for. Most of us in this room have never served time in jail, nor have we. I know you're asking where am I going with it?
Go ahead.
Never served time in jail, nor have we ever been locked up in prison. However, spiritually speaking, we all been through what we might call a prison experience in life.
Yes.
Times when the Lord shuts us up in affliction for his own purpose. Times when we wonder where he was and why he was doing this to us. Some of you are in this right now, wondering how you got there and why are you there. And wondering when it will end. If God really loved you, why are these things really happening to you? My condition is not my conclusion. Now let's look at some people in the Bible who actually had a prison experience. Let's look at Paul and Silas, who, while they were locked up simply because they refused to worship who they were commanded to worship. But in the story, you understand that they at midnight, they realized at that very moment they realized at that very moment that their condition was not their conclusion.
Yes.
Let's look at one more person. Daniel. He was thrown in the lion's den. In the den of lions, they're alive, so you expect for a human to be in the lion's den to be eaten up.
Yes.
The very men who threw him in the lion's den were eaten up before they even hit the ground. His conclusion, his condition was not his conclusion.
Yes.
Now my conclusion, when I was 14 years old. My parents had split up. And And my mother felt as if she couldn't do without a man being in the presence. She would not allow me to be around my father. And so I had felt like I lost everything that I had. I couldn't be around him, and then I turned around and I lost 2 godfathers back to back, and I was very close to both of them.
Right.
So the man that she began to be with and allowed him to move in the house with us, he said to me, "I'll be your godfather. I'll be the one to protect you. I'll be the one to make sure that you're all right." Now, a godparent, from what I understand, is the person that is next in line if anything happens to your parents to take care of you. Wherein he wasn't taking care of me, but he was hurting me. And I was very feminine. I was very dainty. I never wore pants. When it happened, I stopped wearing skirts to school. I let myself go. I began to get big and gain the weight that I had, and I could never understand why was I going through this. Why was I the one being hurt? And the other night, I said, "God, I need something to tell the people because I don't have anything."
All right.
And I began to look through my notes, and he said, "Chanel, tell them your condition is not your conclusion."
All right. All right.
I said, "Okay, but you gave me that, but I don't know where I'm going to come from." And I began to look through my notes, and I'm like, "I don't know what you're talking about. I can't just get up there and tell the people my condition is not my conclusion." And so, create in me a clean heart, oh God.
Yes.
And renew the right spirit within me. And it kept playing in my head. And I said, "Well, Lord, why do you want me to go there?" He said, "Chanel, because your condition is not your conclusion."
All right.
And I said, "Okay." So when Minister Matthew said that I gave her a little bit of something, I just told her my topic. My condition was not my conclusion, because I had to understand that even though he had hurt me and put me in a depressed state of mind, most people say, "Oh, can't nobody do this to you." People can do it.
Yes,
Yes.
yes, they can.
Yes.
And I came to a realization that my condition was never my conclusion. So many people look at me now because of the things that I have done in my life and the places I've gone. And I was one of the weed smokingest people you could ever meet. You would never think that. My father would call me many times. But I'm high out of my mind. So high, he'd ask me a question, I wouldn't even know what he was saying, but I would answer him just because he was my father and I didn't want him to worry. One time he called me and I was so drunk, he thought I was sick and thought I was hiding it from him. But I was drunk to the point where everything he said to me was funny. And I could never, I drank to get away from the situation, because now that I'm grown, the situation and that one particular issue of being raped had come up, and not just have that come up, but the person who did it have showed face.
Isn't that something?
And said that he never did anything to hurt me. But I was there.
Right.
And I know.
Yes.
And I figured, I said, "Well, Lord, okay. I don't like talking about it because it brings me to tears, because it brings me back to that very moment." And it begins to hurt. Because of this, outside of my father, I don't trust no other man. And I still could not understand, and sometimes, even right now, I really don't understand why, but I know that he's telling me it might not mean nothing to y'all, but God in heaven knows.